Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mark Isaac Potter Presents, episode 3 of our visit with Dr. Suzanne KZ Sh. We're going to do this is the last show of today, but in a few days or a week, we'll do some more. Dr. Suzanne has asked me to say something about my experience of being in so many psychiatric hospitals over the last, since 1990, so that's 35 years. Most of the hospitals are a normal person with mental illness who was put there rightfully has a very hard time being in such a place. It is very regimented. I'm a creative person. I believe in things that most people haven't even heard of, like absurdism, which is a literary movement from the early 1900s. And so my lifestyle has no regulation in it. I sleep, anywhere from 13.2 minutes to 9 hours at a time whenever it suits me, etc. So for me to be in a situation where every frigging moment is regimented. At this moment, you have to go to a class. At this moment, you have to take this pill. At this moment, you have 7.2 minutes to rest. At this moment, you have to eat your dinner. And the people that work there, now I will say they've gotten better over the last 35 years. But generally, the people that work there are just tired. They've been doing it for decades, most of them. They've seen every kind of aberration that you can find. One patient rapes another one. That's pretty common. Or somebody overdoses right there, or just beat each other up, or whatever the hell. It's quite deplorable, and sometimes it isn't. Let's put it that way. So I hope that it's hard to talk about this. I have a friend who I can't tell you how it screws with your mental illness and your mind to be messed with that much. Sometimes you come out worse than you were when you got in there. I was in this meeting, a group therapy session in a hospital, and the therapist was working with me one-on-one, and it was basically like he or she said, if you can't answer this question, you're going to be here for a while, like, months or something. And I've been threatened more than once to be sent up to Napa, which is they just put you away long term, like you were a felon or something. But a friend of mine, a woman who was not a friend of mine at the time, but became a friend, spoke up to the therapist in a way that helped him back off of me.
Awesome.
And we all smoked back then, so she and I went out in the back and had a smoke, and we're still friends to this day. I mean, friends. We're not romantically involved, and I live in the same house she lives in as friends. But I I don't know. I don't know how to tell you what it's like and how bad it is. Very few real mental illness situations in which that hospital is actually a good fix. Most things, it's just somebody making money, most of the time.
Thank you very much
Anyway,
for
you're
explaining that.
welcome, honey. I did my best, I promise.
Because I don't think most licensed providers who are the ones who have to make the decision whether or not a person needs to go into one of these institutions
Yeah.
know about the ramifications that go into that, never mind the fact that you have that on your medical record for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
So these are really big problems. I
Excuse
had a
me.
client years ago who went to go see a psychiatric social worker. Inside of 5 minutes, she asked my client, "Have you ever felt suicidal?" To which she said yes. She didn't ask, "Are you suicidal now?
Right,
Have you
right.
ever been?"
Are you going to harm someone or yourself?
Exactly.
That's the
And so
main.
what she
Are
does is she says,
you
"I'll be back in
homeless?
5 minutes. Listen to the
Right,
story.
right.
I'll be back in
Okay.
5 minutes." She goes, calls the cops, has this poor woman taken off to the mental hospital for evaluation. She's there until, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She needs
Right.
to start her job at 6 o'clock in the morning, wakes up usually at 4 o'clock,
So she
has a
gets
breakfast
fired
stuff.
probably, right?
No,
Or what?
she's still in the same job. It's fine. But that is what made her
Yeah.
decide to find some other way of healing,
Yeah.
because this was so destructive.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. She's the one who had the genetic mutation. She didn't
Oh,
need any of this crap, right?
oh God.
So I'm here to tell you that we need to think very carefully before we make a snap judgment because someone says something, and actually listen to the story
And
and
here's
be very thoughtful about the questions
here's
they're
one of my
asking.
yeah, here's one of my points. I believe that by doing a bunch of shows with Dr. Suzanne, we're going to spread the idea that people have got to look at natural healing ways to do things. We have to encourage people to commit to that as a career, as a researcher, and have consumers look and say, well, okay, I'll try some of that. I mean, even if you're still on some of the meds, I'm a good example. I'm on meds. I've cut them way back. I cut them way back on my own without consulting the doctor. I work with Amazon Pill Pack, so I called them up one day about 3 or 4 months ago, and I said, you know what, I can't afford this. I mean, I have very little money in the world, pennies, and my bill was like 105 a month. I called them up. I said, let's go through them one by one. I'll tell you which ones I'm keeping and which ones I'm getting rid of. So I got rid of about half of them. Then I went and looked at, and I'm an old Ohio kid. I'm bacon and, you know, fried gravy and biscuits. I mean, so I now go to TikTok a lot and I see the healthy. I make sure I watch the healthy stuff about cranberry juice and beet juice and this and that and ginger. And I'm even at my age of 145, I'm still willing and able to try to do better. And that's all I'm asking you guys to do. Listen to what Dr. Suzanne has to say. Consider it. Consider doing it a different way. Because, like I say, 1,000 years from now, we're going to look back and go, oh my God, those people were barbarians. So I'm sorry, Dr. Suzanne, I took
They
up
are,
your.
because they're simplifying bodily symptoms.
Yeah.
Many people who have things that look like anxiety and depression might
Yeah.
have like a hormonal imbalance. They might not be able to
Yeah.
metabolize their proteins, which
Right.
are the amino acids that we need in order to make the neurotransmitters that give us clarity of thinking and emotional regulation. So we have
Right.
to look at the whole system as who we are as human beings and not just decide that because someone says they're depressed, automatically they're put on an SSRI, which, by the way,
Yeah.
has a black box warning on it because teenagers and 20-something-year-olds
Eh,
get homicidal and suicidal on this crap. And that's
Yeah.
why you have
Yeah.
mass shootings in America. I know. I did a
Yeah.
master's
Yeah.
degree in public policy, medical sociology, and
Right.
it was proven that every single one of the mass shooters was either on a psychotropic medication that would be for mental illness or was just taken off one. And that's
And we
one of
never
the
hear
common
about that
denominators.
because the pharmacological lobby blocks it. So
Well, people need to educate themselves in terms of what crap truly is and the damages it can do, because it's there. The black box warning is there, and you need to ask
yeah.
pharmacists. My mother was very smart in a lot of ways. She said, if you're dealing with drugs, medications, you talk to the pharmacist, they understand the chemistries, the doctors know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
The
You know,
same with nurses and doctors. Doctors pretty much have given up on doing anything except playing God. and the nurses are the ones that do the work.
When they're not doing
Uh,
paperwork. Now it's actually the technologists who do most of the patient care. The nurses have to
yeah,
fill out so much
that's
paperwork.
true. Yeah,
And the insurance companies, it's ridiculous. This can
yeah.
go on
No,
forever.
it is, and they've cut back everybody. So
Well, that's another
what?
problem. They don't have enough doctors and nurses to do the job, and so they're going to cut back more. It's very, very smart. There's not enough child clinicians, in terms of psychiatric, psychological
Ugh,
either.
yeah.
So I don't know.
So
It's a
any
mess.
final thoughts? Because this will be our last show for a few days or a week. So any last thoughts for our dear viewers?
Yes, I want you to get into your inner wisdom, other known as your intuition. When you have things going on, I want you to listen to what comes up. Journaling is a really good way. I use journaling for a lot of things in my life. And that will help to guide you better in terms of where you go to get the help that you may need. Because I am telling you, the medical industrial complex is nothing more than a business. It is not about healthcare any longer, sadly. That is what it is. So
Right.
that being the way it is, do your freaking research and
Very nice.
find
Okay.
out what you need. And if you
All
don't
right.
know, start in one place and you go to the next till you find it. It might take a little while, but at least you're
All
not taking toxic drugs you don't need and that can harm you. And you're not dealing with people who think they're gods when they absolutely are not only not gods, they don't even know how to take care of themselves in too many cases.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've loved visiting with you. Suzanne at dawningvisions.com. Which one? It's your turn to spell it for them. I did it last time.
You did a good job.
I hope so.
SUZANNE at Dawning, DAWNING, Visions, V as in Victor, IS as in Sam, IONS as in Sam.com. And the website is dawningvisions.com.
All
If you
right,
put my
folks.
name into the internet, you put in Dawning
Yeah,
Visions, my stuff will come up. I've
it's
been
all
doing this
there.
stuff since 2002. There's billions and billions of pages of
Right.
stuff on me. The website has a lot of
Right.
stuff on hypnosis and medication and a whole bunch of other things that are really helpful to you over all the years. I've been doing blog posts,
And
podcasts, interviews, and all the rest of it.
I do want to dispel this rumor that the rumor is false that Dr. Suzanne is starting a bacon franchise. It's not true. I just want you to know.
Way too much work.
All right, folks. I like to end the show this way. We love you. I love you guys. Just take care of yourself. Tune in when you can. My stuff is available on the website or on the YouTube 24 hours a day. So, Dr. Suzanne, thank you so much for all the precious time you've given us here. And hopefully, we've motivated some people to make smarter choices.
Your health
You take
and your
care.
mental
What
health depend on it.
shall I check back with you in a week or so, or what would you
Yeah,
like me to
whenever.
do?
Whenever. In the morning is
Okay.
a good time. You're even.
This time. Well, this time, right?
Yeah.
This is your morning. Okay. All
Yes, it
right.
is.
All right. Let me go
Thank you
ahead
very
and
much.
finish. God bless you, honey.
You're
Take
very
care.
welcome. Bye-bye.
I'm sorry I'm an old man who uses the word honey. It's
It's
offensive to
fine. I have
most
no
women,
problem with
but
it whatsoever.
all right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.